welcome. You're watching Good Morning India. I'm Rishika Barua. Let's get you up to speed with the top stories we're tracking this morning. The UK regulator approves the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Will India be next? India's expert panel reviews the COVID-19 vaccines to meet again on Friday. 14 new cases of the mutant strain detected in India, taking the total to 20. India extends the temporary ban on flights to and from the UK till the 7th of January. There's a consensus on two issues, says the government, after talks with farmers. Next round of talks on the 4th of January over the two outstanding issues. A special one-day session convened today in Kerala to discuss the controversial farm laws. Resolution against the farm laws is likely to be passed. Massive wildfire engulfs the picturesque Zoku Valley in the northeast, causing damage to the environment and biodiversity. And well, the big story that we're tracking for you, the United Kingdom became the first country in the world to approve the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine for COVID-19. This has, of course, raised India's vaccine hopes. The Serum Institute of India, remember, is mass producing this particular vaccine, and its CEO Adar Poonawalla told NDTV that this is great and encouraging news. He also said that they are waiting for a final approval from the Indian regulators. This vaccine has been stored in normal refrigerated conditions, and the Serum Institute of India has said that after the Indian regulators' approval, this is good news for India as well, because much of its first batch of the first 50 million doses will go to India. The million-dollar question, will India be next? Applications for the emergency use approval for the coronavirus vaccines have been filed by the Serum Institute of India, Bharat Biotech and Pfizer. These were taken up for consideration by a government-appointed panel of experts on Wednesday. The Serum Institute, which is making the vaccine Covishield, developed by the Oxford University and AstraZeneca, and the Bharat Biotech, which has partnered with the ICMR for its indigenous vaccine called Covaxin, made presentations before the panel. Pfizer has sought more time to present their data to India. The analysis of the data is ongoing, and the panel will meet once again on Friday. This is what an official government statement said. Sukirti has more.
A government-appointed panel of experts met today to review the applications that had been submitted for emergency use authorization. These applications had been filed by Serum Institute of India, Bharat Biotech, as well as the American pharma giant Pfizer. Now, as far as Serum Institute's application is concerned, they presented additional data with regard to their trials and the vaccine, and that data is still under analysis. Now, the next meeting is going to be held on the 1st of January, and then a decision is expected on whether the panel will recommend an approval for SII to the Indian drug regulator, and the final call will be taken by the Indian drug regulator, which is DCGI. As far as the other two applications are concerned, Bharat Biotech also presented their data. That is also being analyzed at the moment, and Pfizer has sought more time to present their data before the Indian drug regulator. But especially with in terms of Serum Institute of India, the developments are significant because the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has already been approved in UK, and they will start rolling it out in the first week of January. So India is also expected to give an approval, give a go-ahead to the vaccine in the first week of January. When on 1st January this meeting takes place, there is a likelihood that things may work out well for the Serum Institute of India. In the past, the Health Minister of India has said that India will get its first shot of the vaccine in the month of January. So all eyes now on that meeting on 1st of January, when it is expected that Serum Institute of India might finally get a go-ahead from the expert panel and then from India's drug regulator. In New Delhi, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
So all eyes on that crucial meeting on the first day of the new year. Well, as India awaits a COVID-19 vaccine stepping into the new year, eminent vaccine scientist Dr. Gagandeep Singh says that India must aim for 100% population to be vaccinated. She said, and I quote, "If we aim for 100%, we will get closer to the target that we really want to try and achieve." Listen in.
In order to be able to address both facets, which is individual level protection and population level protection.
Yes.
It's been estimated that we are going to need somewhere between 60 and 70% of the population to be vaccinated. But I actually think that it would be much better if we aimed for 100%. We know already that in our routine immunization programs for children, when we aim for 100%, we reach 90%.
Right.
And that's for children for whom we have had immunization programs for decades now.
Yes.
Here we are talking about adult immunization. So I think if we aim for 100%, we will get closer to the targets that we really want to try and achieve.
Well, breaking news coming in at the moment. The Delhi Disaster Management Authority has imposed a night curfew in Delhi. This is a night curfew that will be in place for 2 nights. Tonight, the 31st of December, and tomorrow night, the 1st of January, from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. No public gatherings have been allowed. No New Year celebrations have been permitted as well. My colleague Sharad, who's breaking this information for us, is joining us on the broadcast. Sharad, ये फैसला लिया गया है DDM दिल्ली डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी की तरफ से कि 2 रातों का नाइट कर्फ्यू होगा.
हाँ बिल्कुल, असल में क्योंकि इस समय एपिडेमिक चल रहा है, पेंडेमिक चल रहा है, तो जो भी फैसले लिए जाते हैं टॉप अथॉरिटी में वो डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी के तहत लिए जाते हैं. तो उसी ने ये आदेश जारी किया है. तो ये कहें कि दिल्ली सरकार ने किया है या मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी ने किया है, एक ही बात है. तो 2 दिन के लिए नाइट कर्फ्यू लगाया गया है. 31 दिसंबर को रात को 11 बजे से 1 जनवरी सुबह 6 बजे तक, और फिर 1 जनवरी को रात 11 बजे से लेकर 2 जनवरी सुबह 6 बजे तक. इस दौरान कोई भी किसी भी पब्लिक प्लेस पर 5 से ज्यादा लोग इकट्ठे नहीं हो सकते. जैसे कि हम कहते हैं कि रिस्ट्रिक्शन है, तो 5 से ज्यादा लोग इकट्ठे नहीं हो सकते. किसी भी तरह की गैदरिंग, किसी भी तरह का कोई जश्न, कोई न्यू ईयर सेलिब्रेशन, किसी भी तरह की पब्लिक प्लेस में ऐसी किसी गैदरिंग की या फिर जश्न की इजाजत, सेलिब्रेशन की इजाजत नहीं होगी. लेकिन हाँ, लोग जो अपने काम से घर जा रहे हैं वो इंटर स्टेट जा रहे हैं या इंट्रा स्टेट, यानी कि एक स्टेट से दूसरे स्टेट ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं या स्टेट में ही ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, आ रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं, ट्रैफिक चल रहा है, उस पर किसी तरह की कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन लागू नहीं होगी. ये केवल और केवल जो लोग नया साल का जश्न मनाने के लिए निकल सकते हैं उनके लिए ये नाइट कर्फ्यू दिल्ली के अंदर लगाया गया है. पहली बार तो केवल 2 दिन के लिए ही है ये, और ये भी केवल रात के समय गैदरिंग ना हो, कोई जश्न ना मनाए, जिससे कि कोरोना जो इस समय दिल्ली में अपने लोएस्ट लेवल पे आ गया है उसमें कहीं एक बार दोबारा से उछाल ना आ जाए. तो इसलिए 2 दिन के लिए नाइट कर्फ्यू लगाया गया है.
All right, Sharad Sharma, appreciate you joining us with the very latest. So, night curfew has been imposed in the national capital for 2 nights. The 31st December, 1st of January, the curfew will be in place from 11 p.m. till 6 a.m. This, of course, in the light of COVID-19 restrictions in place, so that no more than 5 people can gather at public places. There is also a ban on New Year celebrations. Remember, it's the new mutant strain of the coronavirus is also a huge cause of concern. 14 new cases of the mutant strain have been detected in India on Wednesday. This has taken India's total tally to 20. India has decided to extend the temporary ban on flights to and from the UK till the 7th of Jan as well. In Pune, there is a huge cause of concern as over hundreds of passengers from the UK continue to remain untraceable.
The number of people with the highly infectious UK strain has tripled in just 1 day in India. 14 more passengers from the UK have this, taking the total number to 20. The maximum number of samples have tested positive in Delhi at 9, followed by 7 in Bengaluru, 2 in Hyderabad and 1 each in labs in Pune and Kalyani in West Bengal. 2 of the cases so far include children, a 2-year-old girl in Meerut and a 6-year-old girl in Bengaluru. In Bengaluru, the authorities have sealed the apartment of the mother-daughter duo who tested positive for the variant.
We have identified all the primary and the secondary contacts of all these people. We have isolated all of them in the institutional quarantine, and we have tested all these contacts also of these 7 infected people.
But many UK passengers are missing. In Pune, where over 100 are still untraceable, officials made this appeal.
मैं एनडीटीवी के थ्रू सबको और पूना के जो नागरिक हैं जो यूके से ट्रैवल करके आए हैं उनसे आह्वान करती हूँ कि आप हमारे डीएम सेल में कांटेक्ट करें। उन्होंने कांटेक्ट नंबर सही नहीं देने की वजह से हम उनको कांटेक्ट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। उनको 7 डेज क्वारंटाइन करना है। वो 22 दिसंबर मिडनाइट से जिन्होंने लैंड किया है उनके लिए है।
यूके से आए हुए हर व्यक्ति का प्रॉपरली उसका स्वैब लिया जाता है, उसका टेस्ट किया जाता है। अगर किसी ने कहा है कि भाई कोई आया है और उसके ऊपर ध्यान नहीं रखा गया है या उसका स्वैब नहीं लिया गया है तो जरूर उन्होंने हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट को उसकी जानकारी देना चाहिए।
The ban on flights to and from UK has been extended till the 7th of January. After that, the government says it will strictly regulate resumptions of limited number of flights.
The Union Health Secretary today wrote to all states asking them to assess the local situation and consider restrictions including night curfews on 30th and 31st of December as well as the 1st of January. However, the final decision has been left upon the state governments, but they have been told not to impose restrictions on the interstate movement of people and goods. Bureau report for NDTV.
Well, on to the other big development that we're tracking. Firm on backing the contentious farm laws, the government has offered concessions elsewhere to farmers, the Electricity Amendment Bill and the penal provisions for stubble burning. Of the 4 agendas of the farmers, 2 have been agreed upon. Talks will resume on the 4th of January on the outstanding 2 issues. This is what the Agriculture Minister said after the 6th round of talks yesterday.
Ministers lunching on the langar brought by protesting farmers, as the last couple of times they've refused the government-organized lunch. Hours later, the Agriculture Minister conceded that they accept 2 of the 4 demands of the farmers, who've blockaded some highways into the capital. These demands are waiving air pollution penalties for burning stubble and dropping an amendment to the Electricity Act.
एजेंडे में 4 पॉइंट थे, 4 में से 2 यानी 50% रजाबंदी आज की बैठक में हो गई है।
However, what the government has not agreed to is the crux of the farmers' protest: repeal of the 3 farm laws which the government has ruled out, and guaranteeing the minimum support price in law which the government says it can't do.
To quote the minister, he said, as a farmer myself, I would like a legislation like that. But as a government person who has to take a decision on it, that he realizes that it has implications, including financial implications, and therefore a committee was being proposed. And for us farmer union delegates, that committee was not acceptable as an immediate thing.
With Sunil Prabhu in New Delhi, Joshua Chin, NDTV.
Well, on to the big story that we're tracking from Madhya Pradesh. In one of the biggest cases of farm fraud, farmers from the state, Agriculture Minister Kamal Patel and Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan's home districts of Harda and Sihor were allegedly cheated by traders. Farmers allege the traders ran away with farm crop worth more than 5 to 6 crore rupees. Here's the full story.
22 farmers from 4 districts in Madhya Pradesh at the office of local officials in Devas, claiming they were cheated by traders.
Latest in a spate of fraud complaints since Madhya Pradesh relaxed its mandi norms in May this year, much like what the new farm laws are proposed to do. Now, the traders in Madhya Pradesh are no longer required to register at government mandis.
These farmers allege 2 traders purchased about 2,600 quintals of produce, showing a license registered at a mandi in Devas, except the license expired 3 months ago. When the checks bounced and they checked with the mandi, the farmers were told no such traders existed.
हमारा माल का जो भाव तय हुआ, माल देखा, माल का भाव तय हुआ और भाव तय होने के बाद में जब हमारा सौदा हुआ तो उन्होंने हमारा माल लेके गए। जो हमारा रेट तय हुआ उसमें हमारा को लगा कि हाँ इनको दे देना चाहिए, हमने उनको हमारा माल दे दिया। माल देने के बाद में आज दिनांक तक हमारा को पैसा नहीं मिला है। ऐसे बहुत सारे किसान बंधु हैं जो मेरे साथी हैं, जो हरदा जिले से, होशंगाबाद जिले से और देवास जिला, नरसुला, अपना सीहोर जिला, जो लगभग 150 से 200 किसान हैं और अमाउंट अगर देखा जाए एक मोटा मोटा आंकड़ा तो 5 से 6 करोड़ रुपए का जो घोटाला है, जो गबन करके व्यापारी यहाँ से फरार हो गया।
मेरा डालर, चना और मूंग की फसल लगभग 18 लाख 19 लाख के बीच की लेके गए थे और चेक दे के गए मुझे, लेकिन चेक लगाने पर पर्याप्त नहीं थी, चेक बाउंस हो चुका है मेरा। अब हमें एसडीएम साहब से उम्मीद है कि हमारा न्याय करवा जाए।
The latest case is particularly embarrassing as it happens in Harda, the constituency of Cabinet Minister of Agriculture Kamal Patel. So far, 8 instances of fraud involving close to 100 farmers have been reported from across the state. The earlier cases include 61 farmers cheated in Seoni, Malwa, 24 in Gwalior, 13 in Guna, 8 in Balaghat. The minister claims they will get tough with the traders.
मंडी की बजाय मंडी के बाहर बेचे थे और वो भाग गया। उसके खिलाफ एफआईआर भी हो गई, उसकी गिरफ्तारी भी हो गई, उसकी जमानत भी हो गई शायद, लेकिन उसके खिलाफ हम कार्रवाई कराएंगे। एसडीएम कोर्ट में आवेदन करके मैं बात कर रहा हूं और उसकी संपत्ति कुर्क करेंगे, उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई करेंगे। लेकिन मैं किसान भाइयों से भी निवेदन कर रहा हूं कि किसी को उधार मत बेचिए। कुछ किसान ज्यादा पे रेट लेने के चक्कर में आ जाते हैं और उसके चक्कर में विश्वास भी रहता है। पहले क्या करता है, व्यापारी देता रहता है, और ये कोई आज से नहीं हो रहा है, कई वर्षों से हो रहा है।
Multiple complaints of traders cheating farmers are coming from Madhya Pradesh, and one of the biggest apprehension of farmers that under the new law they would be left with no choice but to accept the settlement awarded by the conciliation board constituted by the SDM. In Bhopal with camera person Rizwan Khan and Anurag Dwari for NDTV.
Well, on to the other big story that we're tracking today. Legislators in Kerala will be attending a special one-day session that has been convened to discuss the controversial farm laws, and a resolution is likely to be passed against these laws by the state as well. With the Congress-led UDF principal opposition in the state, that's also likely to back the resolution that's been passed by the ruling left in the state. Sneha joins us with the very latest. Sneha, finally this special session of the Assembly has been called today. What are we likely to see happen?
This special Assembly 23rd December, that was consent given by the governor. The governor said the explanation for why it was an emergency was not emergency session was not given. Clearly, the Chief Minister saying it's absolutely reasonable that a cabinet or a government which has the public, which has a majority from the public, is not being allowed, or its decision, cabinet decision, has been overruled. So now again, after 2 days today, finally this special assembly session is going to be held. Important day because today is when the Chief Minister of Kerala is likely to table the resolution against the controversial farm laws by the centre, and this is going to be backed even by the UDF opposition, which is the principal opposition in the state. Now, Kerala Assembly has one BJP MLA. And that's the only voice that is likely to be against this particular resolution. Now, we'll also shortly get you the Kerala Agriculture Minister on why is this move. The BJP has slammed the state government, saying that this is just a political furor, but the state government maintaining that it is going to affect Kerala drastically because Kerala is also a consumer state.
All right, Sneha, appreciate you for joining us with the very latest. After a lot of controversy, that special assembly session to discuss the new farm laws has finally been called in Kerala today, and that resolution is also likely to be passed. We'll keep a close watch on all those political developments. We're going to slip into a very short break. We'll be back with more on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The big story we're tracking from Jammu and Kashmir. Hours after security forces claimed to have killed 3 terrorists in an encounter on the outskirts of Srinagar, the families of the killed families of those who've been killed have alleged that innocent youth, including the son of a police official, have been killed and claim that the encounter was staged. Now, one of those killed is a teenager, a class 11 student. The police say the operation was carried out by the army and they later rushed to the spot. The police has also issued a statement claiming that all three were terrorists, but they were not listed as terrorists in the police records. Now, Nazir joins us with the very latest, but before we go across to Nazir for more information on this, let's listen in to the reactions.
यहाँ पे कंटिन्यूसली इनपुट्स आ रही थी कि टेररिस्ट किसी बड़ी टेररिस्ट एक्टिविटी को अंजाम देने वाले हैं और सभी इंटेलिजेंसीज और सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस इंटेलिजेंस को बिल्डअप कर रही थी और कल जब खबर आई तो उस बिल्डिंग को कॉर्डन किया गया। कॉर्डन करने के बाद टेररिस्ट को सरेंडर करने की अपील की गई। काफी देर अपील करने के बाद एक टेररिस्ट बिल्डिंग से बाहर निकलने की कोशिश उसने की, लेकिन जैसे ही वो बाहर आने लगा, जो अंदर उसके बाकी साथी थे उन्होंने फायर खोल दिया और ग्रेनेड्स सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस की तरफ उन्होंने फेंके। तो इससे जाहिर होता है कि वो सरेंडर करने वाले ताक में नहीं थे। जो गोला बारूद उन्होंने पूरी रात यूज किया सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के अगेंस्ट, वो इस बात को दर्शाता है कि वाकई में नेशनल हाईवे के पास वो किसी बड़ी कार्रवाई को अंजाम देना चाहते थे।
चिराग क्यों बुझा दिया? अब कोई चिराग जलाने वाले घर में नहीं है। ए खुदा हम क्या करें? ए खुदा हम किससे मांगे? हम किससे पुकार लगाए?
मैंने उससे कल बात की, मैंने उसको बोला मुझे 5th सेम की नोटिस दो। उसने मुझे बोला हाँ मैं कल दूंगा, मैं कल वापस आऊंगा, मुझे फॉर्म भरना है। फिर अभी मैसेज आई वो शहीद हुआ। मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है वो शहीद कैसे हुआ, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? वो बेगुनाह है, हमें उसकी लाश दे दो। हम डीसी से अपील करते हैं, हम गवर्नमेंट से अपील करते हैं, हमें उसकी लाश वापस दो।
All right, Nazir joins us with the very latest. Nazir, you're reporting that there have been protests that are taking place. The opposition is also demanding an inquiry. Break the story down for us.
Well, the encounter has become quite a controversial, and it has happened just 4 days after police filed a charge sheet against an army captain and 2 others into an fake encounter in Shopia in July. That time also army had claimed that 3 Pakistani terrorists have been killed and warlike stores have been recovered from the encounter site, and encounter took place when they came under heavy firing and terrorists were planning to carry out a major terror strike in Shopia area. But a subsequent court of inquiry by the army and the also investigation police have now found that that was a fake encounter. Now, just days after that charge sheet, this again a controversy about the encounter very close to in Srinagar, on the outskirts of Srinagar. Therefore, yesterday, army said they received information. Yesterday morning, they said they killed all the 3 militants. And police has issued somewhat a contradictory statement. A, they want to distance themselves from this encounter. They say that army has launched an operation. There was a firing on the army. On receiving the information about this firing, they rushed to the spot with the CRPF, and they are saying they are clearly showing that they were not part of the encounter. Second thing, police are saying that these 3 men who were killed were terrorists, but they said they were not listed in police records as terrorists. And then they are refuting family claims that, look, you don't know about activities of your wards. So there have been instances, these people are the OGWs, known as overground workers, which are either those who are sympathizers of militants or those who have some links with militants. They said they were the OGW associates of this. So clearly there are many gaps in the police statement. So on one hand, police are trying to distance itself from directly being involved into the encounter. At the same time, they are saying they were terrorists, and they are saying 1 rifle and 2 pistols have been recovered from the site of encounter. Look what families are saying. Families are saying 2 of them were students. They had come from Pulwama to Srinagar to submit a form in an educational institution. So this encounter, we see now there are political parties, they are saying please hold a probe into it, government should come clean into it, because normally what we know, if there's a militant, families never deny that in Kashmir.
Right.
Because there are some social reasons for that and also political reasons, and they say he's a martyr, whatever, you may like it or not. The fact is, the families, whenever, even a militant is just 1 day old militant, he has joined militancy yesterday, families,
Right.
we have seen, they never denied. But in this case, all the families coming forward, protesting outside police control room Srinagar yesterday, saying yeah, the awards were innocent youth who have been killed in a staged encounter and passed off as terrorists.
All right, Nazir, it's an important story that you're reporting on. We'll keep coming back to you for more updates on this story. Remember, families have alleged that innocent boys have been killed in this encounter in the garb of them being labelled terrorists. It's a big story that we're tracking at the moment. This has, of course, catapulted into a huge controversy, one that we'll track very closely. Well, moving on now to the other big story we're tracking today in what seems to be a case of dishonor killing. A woman and her lover, both from the Jat community from different villages in Haryana's Rohtak district, were allegedly shot at by her father, who disapproved of the alliance. While the woman Pooja died on the spot, the groom Mohit was seriously wounded and was rushed to Rohtak's PGI hospital with serious injuries. His medical condition is now stable. Mohit's brother was also killed in the firing, according to the police. Ghazali joins us with the very latest. Ghazali, it's a shocking story that we're tracking from Rohtak.
Yes, certainly it's a case of, police says it's a case of hate crime. Because the girl was raised by her uncle. She was an orphan and she was staying with so.
All right, we seem to be having some audio trouble with Ghazali there. We'll try and reconnect with him in just a bit. But this, of course, is the big story that we're tracking from Rohtak, a case of dishonor killing where a girl was shot at by her father. The boy is in a critical condition and recovering at the PGI hospital, and the man's brother was also, in fact, shot at. I believe we have Ghazali back on the line with us. Ghazali, go ahead.
So the girl was an orphan and raised by her uncle Kuldeep, a property dealer, and she was staying in Rohtak for the past many months and had developed a relationship with another guy named Rohit. Her uncle, when got to know, he was upset with that, he was disturbed with that, and promising that he will solemnize and bless their marriage, he invited the couple before they were going towards the court. And when the couple came to meet him, he fired shots at the couple, and husband's brother also died. The boy is critical. He is stated to be stable now. He was admitted in Rohtak PGI yesterday. But all the key accused have been arrested by the police yesterday evening only.
All right. Appreciate you, Ghazali, for joining us for the very latest. So, two important clarifications there. Ghazali says that the girl was in fact an orphan and it was her uncle who was upset over the alliance, and the boy who has in fact, who she was in this alliance with, his name is Rohit, not Mohit. So we will check that as well. Thanks, Ghazali, for joining us for the very latest. Well, meanwhile, in the northeast of India, a massive wildfire has engulfed the picturesque Soku Valley. This on the Manipur and Nagaland border, causing massive damage to the environment as well as the biodiversity in the area. The Manipur Chief Minister, Biren Singh, in a series of tweets last night, said that the wildfire at Soku Valley and officials and villagers couldn't enter the burning areas as the scale of fire is too large with strong winds, and there's also no proper equipment at the moment or manpower to really control it. According to official sources from Nagaland, where locals have been able to see the flames from as far as the capital city of Kohima, they've said that the fire was caught probably 2 or 3 days ago from the Nagaland side and crossed over to the Manipur side. With that, we're slipping into a very short break. The news continues. Stay with us. Good morning and welcome back. You're watching NDTV. I'm Rishika Barwa. Well, amid the pandemic, there is a lot of restrictions that have been imposed across several cities in order to curb any kind of super spreader events. So gatherings across different parts of the country have been stopped. Let's get you live updates from what's happening across different parts of the country. Let me first go across to my colleague Meher, who's joining us from Delhi, where a night curfew has been imposed for 2 days, 31st as well as 1st. Between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Meher, what more can you tell us?
Yes, Rishika. The Delhi Disaster Management Authority passed an order yesterday imposing a night curfew in the city for today, the 31st, and tomorrow, the 1st. No more than 5 people will be allowed to gather in a public place, and no New Year celebrations will be permitted between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. both tonight and tomorrow night. The DDMA is worried that large New Year's parties will become super spreader events, as you said, and especially considering the worry regarding the mutant virus, which spreads faster. 8 positive cases out of the 20 that were detected in all of India were in Delhi. But it is important to note that it is that no restrictions are imposed as of now on interstate and intra-state travel under the curfew. So it's unlikely that travel will be curbed. Back to you.
Right, Meher, appreciate you for joining us for the very latest. So today and tomorrow, curfew in the national capital from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. No events for New Year celebrations have been permitted. No more than 5 people can gather in public places, but no restrictions yet have been imposed on intra or interstate movement. That's crucial for those living in the national capital region. Appreciate you, Meher, for joining us for the very latest from Delhi. Let's take you to Mumbai now. Mumbai is all set to witness once again a very low-key New Year celebrations with the Maharashtra government that's directed people to celebrate within the confines of their homes. There won't be any late-night parties in public places, but people can visit their friends and families provided it's a small group and social distancing is maintained. Purva Chitnis joins us from Mumbai. Purva, what's December the 31st going to look like in the maximum city?
Well, in fact, the state government released a directive 3 days ago itself where they had said that this time there won't be any late night parties and the curfew will be in place from 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. And this curfew is going to be there until 5th of January. So basically the curfew restrictions are in place, so which means that the hotels, bars and pubs will have to shut down by 11 p.m. And the state government said that it's not that you cannot party at all. You can obviously go and visit your friends and family, but in public places, especially, in Mumbai where there are these iconic places like Gateway of India, Marine Drive or beaches, there should not be any gatherings. So a gathering which means 5 people or more is prohibited. And also if you're traveling, if you're traveling after 11 p.m. in your own car, then that is allowed provided you have 4 people inside, less than 5 people inside your car, then that is allowed. But any gathering, even in your homes and even in your terraces, if you are doing any kind of party, the gathering should be done with enough social distancing, and a small group should be there, which is less than 5 people. So such kind of restrictions are in place, and hotels and restaurants have to shut down by 11 p.m. The public places like beaches, parks and Marine Drive and Gateway of India, police patrolling will be there. There will be strict restrictions of not many people to gather, because normally for fireworks and for celebration of New Year's, these are the places where people gather, so that is not allowed this time.
So all efforts there being made in order to prevent these large gatherings from taking place. Purva, that's the update from Mumbai, but let's also go across to Bengaluru, where Sonakshi joins us with the very latest. Sonakshi, prohibitory orders will be imposed in Bengaluru city from noon onwards, starting today. What more can you tell us about the restrictions?
A very good morning to you, Rishika, and to all our viewers. I'm coming to you from Bengaluru city, and at the moment, as they say, the weather in Bangalore is always very pleasing and it is drizzling indeed. But all efforts are being made in the city to make sure that people don't take the virus, and the concerns coming out of the virus very flexibly. In fact, people there will be a section 144 in place from 12 noon till 6 a.m. tomorrow. That also means that people will not be allowed to gather. Large gatherings will be banned in Bengaluru city in these time restrictions. But it also means that people can gather only inside their houses. So in-house gatherings is allowed, but A no-man zone will be created across prime location in the city like Koramangala, Church Street, MG Road, Brigade Road. These are, remember, the prime locations where people usually gather in the city for their New Year bash. But unfortunately, because of the COVID restrictions and the concerns emerging out of the new virus, this new strain of virus from the UK, and 7 cases already being reported in the city, the Chief Minister has repeatedly emphasized the need to stay indoors and get tested. But yes, in Bengaluru city, there will be no New Year celebrations. Today being the New Year's Eve, people will have to stay indoors. And also, major signals, major junctions in the city will be barricaded, and the police will be on a constant monitoring parade to make sure that people don't come out of their houses to celebrate in large gatherings. Back to you.
All right, so all the so-called happening places, Sonakshi, in Bengaluru will be not so happening today. Of course, restrictions have been put in place to urge people to stay home and have low-key celebrations so that there are no super spreader events that emerge from December the 31st. Appreciate you for joining us for the very latest.